Hello, welcome to a new video, and today is a very exciting video because today I'm bringing you a readathon announcement. So I've not been very secretive with this because I have already made the Twitter. The Twitter is at TBR be with you. It wouldn't let me do the full may the TBR be with you. But basically, if you have been watching my channel for the last year, you'll know I have a TBR game that I do every month to determine what books I read, and it is called May the TBR be with you. This is my board. I put a lot of work into this and it was so much fun. It's the most creative thing I have ever done. But I thought I would do a readathon, and what better month to do the readathon than the month of my people, May the 4th. So May. I had to do it in May. May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th, Return of the 6th. Like, I had to. So, I have made this a lot easier than my TBR game is because I want people to have fun with it. This is not a competition. This is just for a bit of fun. I'm going to first go over the rules of my TBR game, and then I am going to go through what's different about the readathon. So, on my TBR game, I have 9 planets. You can see there's yellow dots to get in between the planets, and this part of the board is just where I put my prompt cards. So I have these cards that have a prompt on the other side, and I have different characters, and I have a prompt for each of those characters. And the way I do it, I like to do 5 books a month. What I do, I grab because there's 9 planets, I grab a D10 and I roll it 5 times to get 5 numbers, and the numbers correlate to a particular planet on the board. So number 5 is Scarif. If I roll a 0, because a D10 has 0 to 9, if I roll a 0, I roll again. That doesn't count, there is no 0. And if I have just rolled a 5 and then I roll a 5 straight again, I re-roll because I can't then travel towards the planets, because the aim of the game is to travel to 5 planets. Now, if I was to roll a 5 for Scarif, a 1 for Exegol, and then a 5 for Scarif, that is absolutely fine because I can travel from there to there and then back again. But it's only if I roll the same number 2 times in a row, I have to re-roll one of them. I hope this is making sense. I am going to have there's going to be a full rules list. Don't worry. And the way I then do it, I like it to be a little bit of a challenge. So I give myself 10 dice rolls to then get to all 5 planets. I use 2 d6s. It needs to be 2 of the same dice because you need to have the ability to have doubles. So I use d6s. I started off using d8s and it was just too easy and there was no challenge. So I changed it to 2 d6s, and it's been working so much better for me. And I have to roll them 10 times and just go towards the planets in the order I've rolled those planets. So for example, I'm going to use my April TBR as a perfect example of this. So on April, I started off on Tatooine because that's where I was last, like the month before. So I managed to get to Mustafar, then Coruscant, then Exegol, then Lothal, then Scarif. And I managed to do that in 9 rolls, which is very unusual. But the reason I managed to do it is because as you're going between planets, if you roll a double, you automatically skip all the yellow dots and go straight to the planet you're aiming for. And that's how I managed to do it in 9 rolls. I don't like punishments. So I know in Becca's Bookoplathon, I'm going to use Becca's Bookoplathon as an example. If you roll a double in that, you have to add another book. So if she was doing 5 rolls, you would then have 6. I don't want that. I don't mind punishments if I'm doing someone else's TBR game or if it's like someone else's readathon. But when I'm playing my own TBR game, I don't want a punishment. I have found a way to work around a punishment. So my punishment is no matter what, I'm going to read 5 books, because if, say, I only get to 4 of the planets and then I run out of my 10 rolls, I have to randomly pull a lightsaber. And the lightsabers have numbers on them. There is only one purple. Purple is number 1. So I can rig it slightly, but there's different colour lightsabers. Again, this readathon is not going to require you to make these. Don't worry. I'm just saying that now. But this is how I do it on my TBR game. So I have lightsabers. I think I have like 36 or something. And I have a list on my phone. It's actually called Books for Punishment, because it's not a punishment. It just means I get 5 books. And I have random books for each number. There is 36. And what I do, so I would pick a random number. That is number 32. So I would then have to read Fall of the Argosy, because that's the number on my list. And then once I've read that book, I replace that book with another book on my list. That's how it works. So no matter what, I end up with 5 books on my TBR. No more than that and no less, which I very much like. So the way it works when I get to each planet, so these are the exegol. So what I would do, I would get to the planet and randomly pick the top prompt, which for this would be Kylo Ren, and a book with it I can change him villain. Now, that is how I do the game. I'm making this a lot easier because I know there are a lot of readathons at the moment that are a little bit more complicated than that, and I don't want to do that to you, because I know sometimes people just need a bit of a break but they still want to take part and then they overdo it. It's me, I'm people. So I wanted this to be a very, very chill one. I present to you the digital board. I have recreated my board on a PDF. This will print out as A4. There is going to be a Google Drive linked in the description box with all of the details you're going to need, and all the, like, the board, the prompts, everything. And the way the prompts are going to work, because it's not always fun, you know, doing it randomly. So I have one of these for each of the planets. And each planet has every prompt that I use for those planets. Now, some of my prompts, because I never made these prompts with the idea of this being for a readathon. I made it with the idea of this being my personal TBR game that other people wouldn't do. I only recently, in the last like 3 months, had the idea to do it as a readathon. So, because a lot of these are very much a me thing, I'm trying to think of one that is a good example. Andor's prompt, character does something unexpected or goes through a transformation. You might not necessarily know that unless it's a reread for you. And that's fine for me, because, you know, these are my prompts. I made these prompts for a reason. So the way I am going to do this readathon is going to be kind to you, because you're not going to have to randomly pick a prompt. So you're going to do your rolls. You can choose however many planets you want to go to. I choose 5. You can choose 10 if you want. You can choose 2. As many planets as you want, or as little planets as you want. And you are also going to choose how many rolls you do it in. Now, I would say if you're doing 5 planets, 10 rolls is a good amount, because it's possible, even without rolling doubles, depending on what planets you get. So if you get planets really near to each other, it's great. I would say I'm not going to police how many rolls and how many planets you do. You can absolutely choose yourself. You can have unlimited rolls if you would like. The challenge is going to be when you set yourself an amount of rolls to do it in. So I give myself 10 rolls to get to 5 planets. If you're doing 10 planets, maybe give yourself 20 rolls, double it. It is completely up to you, because I'm not policing it. This is just for fun. Once you have got however many planets you want and you've rolled them, obviously there are online dice if you don't own physical dice. Not everyone has a bag of dice like I do, so there are online dice, or just a random number generator works as well. I just think dice are more fun, but a random number generator, numbers 1 to 9, that's going to work for you. So once you have rolled for however many planets you want, you know what planets you need to get to, you've set how many rolls you want to try and do this in, make your way to your first planet. When you reach your first planet, I randomly pull. Let's say your first planet is Mandalore. You will look at the Mandalore prompts, which there's 6 prompts, and instead of randomly picking one, you can choose which one you want to do. Now, I will say, some have more than others. So, Coruscant has 7 prompts. These are in the wrong order. I need to reorder these. Tatooine has 4. Naboo has 4. Camino has 6. Lothal has 6. Mandalore has 6. Mustafar only has 2. Scarif has 3. And Exegol has 3. So, some you have less options than others. But you can choose, when you land on your planet, you can choose which prompt you want. So if you land on Exegol, you've got a choice of an underrated book, a book with an I can change him villain, or a book with enemies to lovers. And you choose. You don't need to randomly pick, you absolutely choose which one of those 3 you want to use for that planet. And then once you've chosen that, you head on to your next planet. Now, if you are going to give yourself a limit on how many rolls, then you need your equivalent of a lightsaber. I'm not going to expect you to make these because this took me hours to paint these lollipop sticks in different colours with multiple coats and then write numbers on them. So I'm not going to ask you to do that. You're just going to make a list of however many books you want. It doesn't have to be 36. That's how many lightsabers I made because I have no control. You're just going to make a list of books. Hell, it could be 4 books. And then you are going to either roll a dice of however many books that is, or you're going to do a number random generator. And that's going to be how you pick your books. I will say you can't double up. That is my only real rule, is if you have a book that fits 3 planets, you can't. If you're doing 8 planets, that's 8 books. However many planets you roll for, that is how many books you are going to read. And you also, your random lightsaber books cannot be doubled up with any of the planet prompts. That is because you haven't reached a planet. So that's your last planet or planets, depending on how many you manage. So that is my only real rule. I will say I can't police this because, you know, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. To make this more fun, I just think you should follow the one rule, because I know a lot of readathons have so many rules and this has one rule. This readathon is gonna go from the 1st of May to the 31st of May. I am so incredibly excited for this because I not only have worked so hard on this TBR game over the last year, but just making the digital version of the board took me so long, and I'm so proud of how it come out, considering I am not artistic in the slightest, but I'm really proud of how this come out. And I would just like to thank Jem for her help in artistic choices and decisions for the prompt cards, because I was working with one colour and it wasn't working, and Jem gave me the idea and it worked. So thank you, Jem from The Creepy Geek. I'm calling you out because you helped. And Ash for just being very excited that I was doing this. And all of my friends that have been really excited when I told them what was happening. I'm so excited to do this. Like, honestly, cannot wait. Now, like I said, this isn't a competition, so there's no like points or anything to earn. There's not a submission form for taking part. However, I am going to link a form for you to log your books, just because I am nosy and I would like to see how many books and pages get read. However, it is not a necessity. If you don't want to log them, or you forget, or you just don't have time, that's absolutely fine. It's just like a rough guide because I'd like to see how well this does. And I might redo it again at a later date, depending on how much people enjoy it. But for now, this is what the readathon is. I am so excited to share this. and I really hope that you join in and have fun. I don't think I have forgotten anything. If you do have any questions, like I said, there is going to be a Google Drive link in the description box below. It is going to have the digital board, it's going to have all of the prompts, and it's also going to have like the rules and how to play and everything as well. So you can access that on the Google Drive doc below. That should answer any questions that you have. If you have a question I have not answered in this video or on that file, feel free to comment and ask, but please make sure that it's not already been answered in the video or the file beforehand, because I don't know if I will have time to answer questions I have already answered. So please check the video and the file first, and if the answer is not there, then please absolutely do this. I'm also going to say the prompts, interpret them how you will. For the Darth Vader prompt, which is a burned book, there are a few different ways you can interpret that. So you can either interpret it's got the colours of fire, so like reds, yellows, oranges on the cover. It could be one that has the word fire or burn in the cover, or it's about fire magic or something like that. Or it could be a banned book, because burning books, things like that. You can interpret it however you would like if you choose that. Obviously there is quite a lot here that are very, very easy. A middle grade or children's book, a hardback book. There are so many. A book with art I really like, because I did that mostly to get through like manga and like graphic novels and that, because they've got pictures in them. However, the one and only time I think that I have pulled that, I ended up going with Empire of the Damned, because it has illustrations in it. So if a book has illustrations, and to a point, you can stretch that to if the book has end paper art, it's going to work. It's a book with art. This is how much you can stretch this. If you choose Hunter, which is Pulpic, please tag the Twitter and I will retweet it, so that hopefully you can get a few more people seeing it and a few more people voting. But yeah, honestly, so many of these are so easy to fill because they're just basic. An electric book is a good one, which is Chopper. For electric book, this could be an ebook, an audio book, or it can be a book with electric again in the name, or in like the plot. There are so many ways to fill these prompts. So yeah, stretch the prompts, interpret them how you will, as long as they do fit. I'm giving you free rein on this. I'm trusting you. The key phrase everyone says in their readathon announcements is have fun and stretch the prompts. Just don't be a dick. And I'm applying that to this. I hope you are going to join this readathon. Let me know in the comments below if you are going to, because I'm nosy and I like to see who's going to join. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you for this readathon in May. Bye.